You're watching WGNO News at 5, New Orleans' very own.
And we have been covering breaking news all day of the terror attack in the French Quarter. Good evening. I'm Kurt Sprang.
And I'm Susan Rosgen. We now have a photograph of the suspect in this morning's terrorist attack that left at least 15 people dead and injured more than 24 others.
He's 42-year-old Samsu Din Jabbar. The FBI says around 3:15 this morning he drove a pickup truck into the crowd on Bourbon Street, then got out of the truck with a rifle and opened fire on the NOPD. 2 officers were hurt. The suspect was shot and killed by police.
ABC News is also reporting that 4 accomplices planted explosive devices around the French Quarter. The NOPD has safely detonated 2 devices. No word on whether or not there are truly others, but the accomplices have not been found. We have coverage from our reporters tonight across New Orleans.
WGNO's Mallory Smith, Jordan Lippincott, Rick Gogrieve, they are in the French Quarter. Ashley Hamilton is at UMC, where some of the injured are being treated. Let's begin with Mallory, who has the latest on the investigation.
Yeah, good evening, Kurt, Susie. Well, I'm on the corner of Dauphine and Bienville Street.
People who live in New Orleans and tourists from around the country, if not the world, are in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl. They are stunned by what happened.
We have some of those reactions now from WGNO's Jordan Lippincott, who's at Orleans and Bourbon Street. Jordan.
Yes, Susie, Kurt, and I want you all to take a look at this scene. We haven't seen Bourbon Street quite this empty since the pandemic, but today not only is it empty, it's surrounded by crime scene tape, and there's a level of grief.
Well, the injured victims, including those 2 police officers who had a shootout with the suspect, are being treated at several different hospitals in New Orleans.
University Medical Center is the only level 1 trauma center in the area. WGNO's Ashley Hamilton has spent the day at UMC, and she joins us there now. Ashley.
Good evening, Kurt, Susie. All morning, only law enforcement and EMS workers' vehicles were allowed to go up this ramp right behind me.
Now to the Sugar Bowl. It is postponed due to the attack.
Sports director Richie Mills is here with more on that. Richie, people were not expecting it to be postponed. They thought we would go on with it.
They weren't, but of course I think it was the right call, because during that joint press conference earlier today, Sugar Bowl CEO Jeff Hundley said that after meeting with Georgia, Notre Dame, and SEC officials, New Orleans CFP quarterfinal bout was postponed to 3 p.m. Thursday afternoon.
Well, now some of the Sugar Bowl fans in town for this game are having to decide whether or not they should still go to the game after what's happened.
Rick Gogrieve spoke with some fans and joins us with more tonight. Rick.
Yes, Susie and Kurt, with the game now delayed, many Notre Dame and Georgia fans are out here wandering. They're not having that excitement that they wanted, but instead they're forced to make that decision on whether or not they're even going to be able to stay that extra night.
And you've seen our reporters scattered around the perimeter of the French Quarter. That's because Bourbon Street's been shut down.
And other streets remain closed too. So Chief Meteorologist Hank Allen can show you on a map where you need to avoid those areas. Hank.
Yeah, a lot of that yellow tape out there behind the reporters this evening, and basically the same areas that have been closed since early this morning here. Anywhere you see the purple lines on the map indicate those street closures.
And this is one of the live looks we have at Bourbon Street at Canal right now. We also have coming up, when we come back from the commercial break, we have a look at FBI agents right on the scene collecting evidence right now. We will be back with more on today's attack.
You're watching WGNO News at 5, voted the 2025 Best Newscast by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasting.
And we're beginning with breaking news tonight. Good evening, I'm Kurt Sprang.
And I'm Susan Rosgen. Escaped inmate Derek Groves is back in custody. He was the last escapee from the Orleans Parish jailbreak 5 months ago.
Crime Stoppers says a tip led to Groves' arrest, and we have video of police taking him into custody. WGNO's Rick Gogrieve can show you. He's outside Benson Tower downtown. Rick?
Yeah, Kurt and Susie, U.S. Deputy Marshal Brian Fair tells us that Derek Groves was arrested this afternoon at a home in Atlanta. Now, according to Fair, Groves was hiding in a crawl space that he created in the residence. Agents had to pump gas into the house multiple times and use a canine in order to force Groves out and arrest him.
That shooting is one of more than a dozen in New Orleans over the last 2 weeks.
A real spike in crime. WGNO's Mallory Smith is here to tell us more about it. Mallory.
Kurt, Susie, well, for most of this year, New Orleans has been celebrating a steady drop in crime. But the latest NOPD numbers show over the past month, homicides are climbing again. It all comes as talks continue over deploying the National Guard to New Orleans.
A French Quarter shop has been seized by the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office.
The DA claims the fashion shop was all about felonies. WGNO's Rain Augustine is at the shop on Burgundy Street. Rain.
Yes, Kurt, Susie, this storefront behind me, Culture, was known for selling mainly clothing items. But after a months-long investigation, this French Quarter business on Burgundy has shut down, being seized by the state.
Continuing our coverage of the fight against blighted properties, a city crew is back on track now, demolishing an apartment complex in Algiers.
It's the old de Gaulle Manor apartments, and neighbors are glad to see it go. WGNO's Ashley Hamilton is here with the latest. Ashley.
That's right, Susie and Kurt. For years, this property right here has been abandoned, creating safety concerns for residents. But today, City Councilman Freddie King says that all changes.
Still ahead on WGNO News, Slidell Police Chief Randy Fandall gives you his pitch on why he should be Slidell's mayor.
Former FBI Director James Comey set to go to trial after pleading not guilty to federal charges. Get the latest details from Washington.
And there seems to be no end in sight. More people laid off to the federal government shutdown.
You're watching WGNO News at 6, New Orleans' very own.
Welcome to WGNO News. I'm Susan Rosegen.
And I'm Kurt Sprang. Bond is set for the owner of dogs that allegedly attacked and killed an elderly woman in the Littlewoods neighborhood last week.
Her family members say she was outside her home when the neighbor's dogs got loose. WGNO's Rick Gogrieve is at criminal court. Rick.
Yes, Susie and Kurt, Chad Bridges' bond was set for $100,000.
In another case, a bond has been set for 57-year-old James Traylor. He is the former Jefferson Parish deputy accused of exchanging inappropriate messages with a teenage girl he allegedly met while working a detail at her school. Traylor's bond is $200,000. The judge also ordered him to relinquish his guns. A case of animal cruelty in Armstrong Park.
Witnesses say a group of kids dropped bricks on a goose, injuring the bird and crushing her eggs. WGNO's Mallory Smith is here with more on the story.
That's exactly right, Susie, Kurt. It's a really disturbing story. The attack left the mama goose limping. A local bird rescue has been monitoring her condition, though, and even tried to save the remaining egg, which we learned today, unfortunately did not survive.
From your local election headquarters, historically, elections with amendments don't get the turnout of a presidential or even a midterm election. Saturday's turnout was higher than expected.
Both Republicans and Democrats turned out to defeat all 4 constitutional amendments. WGNO's Jordan Lippincott is here with the results. Jordan.
Susie, Kurt, the Louisiana Secretary of State's office is reporting the unofficial turnout for the March 29th election to be about 21%. That's pretty high considering Governor Jeff Landry predicted the voter turnout to be between 12 and 18%.
Still ahead, President Trump's reciprocal tariffs go into effect Wednesday. How the tariffs might affect your wallet.
And 2 astronauts speak out after being stuck in space for 9 months.
You're watching WGNO News at 5. Voted the 2025 Best Newscast by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasting.
20 years ago today, Hurricane Katrina changed our world. The storm is blamed for more than 1,800 deaths, $108 billion in damage. It's a hurricane that parts of southeast Louisiana continue to recover from. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kurt Sprang.
And I'm Susan Rosejohn. One event to mark this anniversary is an annual March and Second Line.
WGNO's Ashley Hamilton was there. Ashley?
Good evening, Kurt and Susie. Organizers of the event say this is not only a day of reflection, but a day of healing.
One New Orleans neighborhood almost wasn't rebuilt after Katrina.
Wasn't supposed to be. The city had decided that Broadmoor should be abandoned, but the people who lived there would not move away. WGNO's Rain Augustine is here with that story. Rain.
Kurt, Susie, after Hurricane Katrina, the Broadmoor neighborhood was labeled a green dot region, which is an area considered flood prone.
Some of the worst destruction was in St. Bernard Parish, and 164 people lost their lives there. Their names are remembered and read aloud every year. Today, the lives lost were remembered at Our Lady of Prompt Succor Church in Chalmette. And then this memorial service was followed by a memorial mass led by Archbishop Gregory Amond. While Katrina won't be forgotten in St. Bernard Parish, the faithful were urged to look to the future and what's to come.
On the North Shore, people in St. Tammany Parish gathered for its Hurricane Katrina event. This morning, Parish President Mike Cooper dedicated the first Hurricane Katrina memorial site in the parish. It serves as a reminder of the devastation after Katrina, as well as how the parish has rebuilt. Still ahead, we go to Lower Plaquemines Parish to see the ongoing work there that remains to be done 20 years after Hurricane Katrina.
And as the Tigers prepare for their season opener, meet the super fan who will be cheering them on.
You're watching WGNO News at 5, New Orleans' very own.
This is a live look at the Caesars Superdome, where this Sunday the Philadelphia Eagles will take on the reigning world champion Kansas City Chiefs, and the week-long pregame party just keeps on ramping up. In fact, we're just 4 days away now from finding out who will be crowned the next NFL world champion inside the Superdome. Kickoff is Sunday evening at 5:30. Welcome, everyone, to WGNO News. I'm Kurt Sprang.
And I'm Susan Rosejohn. From now through Sunday, all of us locals and visitors will see more restrictions to getting around the city.
That's according to NOPD Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, who released additional information on the city's security plan this morning. WGNO's Mallory Smith is at the Superdome with details. Mallory.
Well, the biggest impact, Kurt, Susie, will be street closures. Kirkpatrick says they'll be closing Bourbon Street from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m.
The TSA is expecting a record number of passengers at the airport this morning. The TSA announced it's bringing in an additional 100 officers with 65 trained dogs from across the country to help handle the volume of passengers. The TSA says explosives are the big concern, and that's where the dogs come in.
Well, where you don't need a big game ticket is at a place that's kind of like an amusement park for football fans, especially for families.
It's the Super Bowl experience at the Convention Center, and that's where we find Jordan Lippincott tonight. Jordan.
Kurt, Susie, we're only 2 hours into the Super Bowl experience, and so much has already happened.
Now, the Budweiser Clydesdales are familiar sights in New Orleans during Carnival.
Now, here comes the Bud. Everybody knows them, right? And they are back for the big game, delivering beer to bars in the French Quarter. WGNO's Kenny Lopez is on Bourbon Street. Kenny.
Hey, Kurt and Susie, it is giddy up time because we have the Clydesdale horses right here. Aren't they beautiful? The Budweiser Clydesdales.
And honors today uptown for a football legend and native Louisianian, Terry Bradshaw. The Hall of Fame quarterback played for Louisiana Tech in Ruston before he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1970. Bradshaw led the Steelers to 4 Super Bowls, won all of them. Today, he was at Tulane University for a ceremony with the City Council on this Terry Bradshaw Day.
Still ahead, sports gambling will be a big part of the weekend. Wait to hear just how much money will be put on the line.
And NFL memorabilia, the real stuff, can be yours. Find out how you can bid on it when we come back.